All right,
Okay.
here are our champions, Chu and Moon. How are you doing, guys?
We're doing
Excellent.
great.
Yeah, that was great.
How do you feel being the champions of Faction Frenzy?
Well, at least we could settle our nerves now. I know Moon was like crapping his pants earlier.
Yeah, I was just nervous. Cheese is a really good team. They have a lot of great tactics, and I was kind of nervous to go up against them, but it feels good to win.
And we
All
had
right,
him first round too before you moved us.
Yeah.
all right. So I guess the first question I want to ask is like, what was your strategy going into this? We just had a new patch drop on us recently, and it was right before Faction Frenzy 3. How do you guys prepare for this tournament?
Go ahead, Chu. Do you have anything
Well,
else?
before we knew that mole rushes were just broken in 2 vs 2, it was just a matter of like me and Moon going into it and not getting contained because we had a couple of practice matches against Masta and Zinu, and we would just get contained and we would struggle breaking the containment. And our initial plan was just don't get contained, break the containment, and then it turned into don't get mole rushed.
Yeah, big time. I have to agree with you on that. The mole rush was definitely something that I was worried about. These guys, like Chu had said, we've done some practice runs before, and they're really aggressive with their expansions, and they're very structure heavy. So we knew that we had to be able to break out of the structure if we wanted to win. So we kind of built our decks around that.
Is that why you went for like the mole, not the mole, the owl and badger plays in the first two games?
Yeah,
That's
absolutely. Yep.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, the we figured that the so what happened? We were up against Josh and Brepost, and I know just from experience from playing them that they always go Fox. So I think Fox is a really solid pick. But when I thought about it, Foxes don't attack structures. So knowing Massive Stealth and Xenu, I knew that they were going to go structure, so my Fox would basically be useless. So that's why I changed up and went to Badger.
All right, and now this is a new meta completely for us. This is probably the first tournament for it. What do you guys think about this meta in general with the new patch and everything?
We thought, like, my initial thought was that wolves were going to be more impactful than they were. Like, I always kept it in my deck, but it always felt like they were trumped for owl and breaking containments.
Yeah, I agree. I was actually really surprised. I think our balloons have they been the health decrease recently or no? I don't know what it is.
No, I don't think balloons have been changed much throughout these last few patches, except for the one from September into November tournament.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I felt like there's a lot of instances playing today where I felt like things like old things that I used to be afraid of, like structures. Like one of the matches today, we broke through like 6 balloons or something, and that's something that like you used to not be able to do. So there was definitely some moments where you'd think that some units would be stronger than others. But yeah, I think I like the meta as it stands.
I
And
agree.
Except for
I
moles,
guess
I have to say.
I guess the elephant in the room that we have to address, mole rushing in 2v2. What do you guys think of this strategy?
I asked for it to get banned. I thought it was broken as, like, all else. Like, I did not want it played in our games.
Yeah, I think as far as 2v2 is concerned, it's just a little too strong. I mean, I think, like, if you really think about it, the only way that you can prepare for it is if you go 4 farm, like a Warren or a turret or anything like that. There's very little counterplay, and I think it's too strong for 2v2. 1v1, on the other hand, I think it'd be a little bit harder to use just because there's only 2 moles as opposed to 4. But I still think I think it's a little too strong. As
Yeah,
Bailey said.
before your partner can get there to reinforce you against 4 moles, I think your mill's already going down. Like, all that they have to do is keep sacrificing moles to your mill to get it down. If you don't go 4 farm Warren.
It looks like Xenu and Masta are in the chat right now, and they're saying mole rushing is not OP. I think it really comes down to the skill of the player. Because if somebody's not scouting, or if they're smart enough, your opponent is smart enough to scout or put up a Warren or a turret or something, then your mole rush is useless. But for like new players or just like average players, I think it's really strong against them. So I don't know. I think after the first couple of minutes, I don't think moles have as much value. So you really have to define, what do you want to use moles for. So they're in a weird spot.
Unless we push at 3 minutes and win the game.
Yeah, that whole thing.
All right, and so we've had a taste of the meta here, and this is 2v2, and as we know, 2v2 usually has like its own special circumstances to work with. How do you think it's going to look like for the 1v1 meta, based on what you guys were able to play?
Oh, jeez.
I think a lot of our success had to do with our communication, rather than like the gameplay.
Yeah, I don't know how this is going to translate over to 1v1. Just because a lot of our builds were focused on complementing each other, and stacking specific units. I've been practicing 2v2 all week, so I have no idea how 1v1s typically go. I know there have been a lot of changes recently, so I think the meta between 1v1 and 2v2 is quite different. Like you'd be able to use snakes more effectively and wolves more effectively in 1v1 as opposed to 2v2. Just think about like all the unit stacking. So I don't know how it would translate.
All right, and now you guys are the champions of Faction Frenzy 3. You guys are probably going to get some nice shiny new roles for being champions.
Oh dang!
Do you have any final words you want to say to the people watching here? Any words of advice, encouragement, anything you want?
I just like to say, first of all, thank you to everyone who came out and played today. It was a lot of fun. The games were really close, and it was just it was great. I'm so happy I came out today and played. And as far as advice goes, Tooth and Tail, I've got like 155 hours, I think. So I've got a lot of time in this game. Not compared to anyone like Dead Bones or anything, but still, if you want to get good at this game, or better at least, it takes time. There's still a lot of things that I have to learn, and it just comes down to practice. So yeah.
I don't think I can follow up Moon's statements any better than that, really. I think he said it really well.
All right, well, thank you, gentlemen, very much for coming out here. And once again, congratulations for your victory here at Faction Frenzy 3.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
All right, and one final shout out to everybody that competed in today. Thank you for coming out to play. We've had some very exciting matches here, some very eye-opening stuff that became known, and, what a game. This is such a really fun game to play and to follow and to watch, just everything above.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you very much once again. This has been Clash of Comrades. Me and MJ holding up the mic here. Shoefly Pie coming in for a brief moment as well to help cover. Thank you guys very much for watching. And we'll hope to see you next time at another one of our events, which we will probably announce somewhat soon. So stay tuned, guys, if you're interested in the game. Find us on the Discord at pocketwatch.com/chat. Just come in, enjoy the fun, enjoy the great, awesome community here we have. Thank you guys once again. We will see you guys later.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.